I'm Jacinda Washington Njike, and you're watching Impact Voices. My name is Jacinda Washington Njike. I am from Chicago, Illinois, but I'm currently loving and living in Douala, Cameroon. Impact to me means how we can change the world. I think that everyone has a desire to make the world a better place in some way for their family, for themselves, and for the people they love. And I think that impact is actually achieving that change as much as you can during your time here. Initially, as an African American in Chicago, I wanted to understand Africa more for myself, the corporate landscape here, the opportunities here. And I think that one of my goals was to show others in the United States and in other parts of the diaspora the real wealth and variety of opportunities in Africa, to show them the real Africa, the modern corporate, not necessarily even corporate, but just the opportunities here that they may not have been aware of due to the limitation of the images that they had been given as children and as I had experienced myself. So I really had always wanted to show how beautiful and wonderful Africa was to others. And to my own kids, I think that my biggest impact was bringing them here and letting them have a really balanced experience. So if I can say that would be my first goal. And then my second goal is that I really love trees, I love nature, and to be able to incorporate preserving nature and preserving the environment into my work has been really the greatest joy. I feel like the biggest impact I can have is helping others to understand how they can be sustainable in their business practices, how they can be sustainable in their lives, how showing people how to change the world. It takes small steps. Especially when we talk about the climate agenda. To be specific, it's a systemic transition that we need, and I think helping people to understand that and helping them to play a role in that and empowering them to really move forward in a really sustainable, green way. I think that can be, if I can help in that way and save trees, save animals, help the carbon emissions to be reduced in any way, I think that would really be my biggest impact. I work with some youth groups when I return to Chicago, and I go to the schools where I used to volunteer, and I speak with the students and I show them pictures and I talk to them about Africa and my experience, and they get to ask questions and really have, a real live experience and understand for themselves. So I think that is really valuable. And then as far as the environmental goes, I think that I'm a lawyer, and a lot of people may say, what does law have to do with environment or social governance? And we can help put in place the rules and the structure that can make environmental obligations more seamless. So what I do in my work is I work with companies to specifically measure their carbon footprint, measure their carbon output, understand how their business impacts the environment. And then once they understand all the ways that their business touches the environment, we can assess what steps they can take in order to mitigate that over the long run. So the most important thing that I think is working directly with companies and identifying those changes that can be made and then implementing those strategies. Part of our Climate Champions goal this year before COP27 is to have more businesses submit action plans on how they plan to reduce their carbon. A lot of people have made, commitments. A lot of people have made statements about how they support environmental change. But this year, it's really, really important to have tangible action plans in place. So that's what I'm doing literally right now, is working with the businesses to put paper to pen to say, these are the steps I'm going to take over the short run, the medium run, and the long run in order to sustain some some climate action. I think that the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that climate action is because it's a systemic change. Individuals, talking to individuals about how they can, in their office, reduce waste. That's what we do. We have these conversations which are triggering people to think in a new way, because what's important right now is that people change their mindset about how the environment impacts and how the environment is impacted by us. It's not necessarily that people will change their actions until they've changed their mindsets. So this first kind of work that we're doing is more laying the seeds, tilling the soil for the productive, actual, tangible steps of environmental awareness. So within a business, you may identify that you have an excessive amount of waste into rivers. So that may be something that you immediately say, okay, that's a short run thing. We can stop polluting a river today. But if your processes for manufacturing include a lot of energy use and it's produced by oil or other chemicals that are not sustainable, then that's going to be a long run change that you're going to have to, with the whole industry, find a new way of manufacturing products that requires either clean energy or less energy. So the idea now is really to create awareness. And I think that awareness is the key for everyone to want to go into a clean, what we're calling the green industrial revolution. It's gonna take everyone to kind of turn the tide in the right direction, or else, it won't be a sustainable long term. So I think that if we can work together as individuals in our home to use, less energy, to turn off the lights, all of those things that we've been hearing for years, we're out of time now, and it's not an option anymore. And I just, the impact I hope to have is for people to be aware of and value their role in protecting nature and value their role in keeping the environment clean, and really take innovative steps to bring change. Maybe entrepreneurs can create products. I always say I would love, when my car, I think that in Africa we may have electric motor kits. Someone can come up with how to swap diesel engines out and put electric motors in, because here, our context is maybe different. We may not have a bunch of new Teslas that are gonna roll off the lot for us to convert to electric vehicles. So we may have to look at it from a different perspective. And that's really what I wanna do, is open that dialogue so that people on the ground can give ideas and make solutions that are really relevant for us in our environment, and not necessarily, what other people are doing elsewhere, which may not apply and be really relevant here. Africa is really beautiful. It's not just safaris and, beaches. It is cities and intellects and art and music and everything that you might want to achieve with your life, whether it be tech. We have Silicon Mountain. We have so many awesome opportunities for people to be valued in the skin that they're in. And I think that if anyone ever, had the opportunity, they should at least come, take a trip, visit. If you have a friend from here, it's really great to come with them because they can really help show you. I got lucky that my husband is from Cameroon, and so that really, I get the inside scoop, and I think that's really valuable to understand the culture. So I would just encourage them to be open and to be, not afraid to take that leap and to believe that there's something really wonderful and beautiful that's a part of them that they can connect to. As far as the environment, I think that everyone can use one less plastic bottle. I think that everyone can reuse some paper. I've gotten in the habit of, when my kids come home with schoolwork, I flip it over and use the backside for my grocery list. Just reusing, reducing, recycling, anything that we can. That's how you can make your own personal impact. Go to your office, ask how you can help reduce or reuse or resell some of the products that you guys are not using. I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is that each person take personal responsibility for the change that they want to see. And if you really want to impact, it has to be something in your heart. It has to be something that you care about. I said earlier, I love trees, I love nature. And so for me to spend my time and energy preserving it for the future generations, to me, is so well worth. And if that's the impact I can have in my life, then I know I will have done something good.